And so what we do, especially in this day and age where we have distributed teams and so much diverse talent that we need to be working together, the superpower here is mapping. And I've found a lot of success in doing this. I used to do this on whiteboards pre-pandemic. Now it's all online. I work with a number of distributed teams. I map everything from conversations to strategic offsites and everything in between. And the templates, the formulas, the models that I'm going to share with you are the ones that I'm showing here. I'm going to go into detail about what these are, how you build them, and what kind of impact they can have in your organization. So the reason why we need to do this is because across your organization, every single individual has a different perspective, right? We might be standing at the same street corner, but we're standing on opposite ends of it. And so we all have different perspectives that are informed by our individual experiences, our biases, the information that we have access to, who we know, where we grew up. All of these things shape a very unique perspective. And reconciling those perspectives, bringing them together across the team is very challenging because often we don't realize that we have separate perspectives, right? We can easily fool ourselves into thinking that everyone's on the same page and we're ready to work together towards the same goal. And this happens all the time when folks are reading documentation. They think they understand it one way, but it was intended with a completely different focus. Or everybody leaves a meeting thinking that they know what's going to happen next, that someone else is going to do the thing that everyone expects them to do. And this happens all the time. So we need these mechanisms that can help us bridge the gaps between all of our different perspectives and help us agree that we have a clear, cohesive understanding as a group so that we can then break off and operate independently, but head in the same direction. So what I found when I was struggling with this as an individual contributor, as a team leader, as a CTO, as a consultant, was that there's very few models that people know about. There's different techniques for all of these things. There's a lot of different ways that you could tackle this challenge, but I didn't find a start to finish system that took me from we don't know where we are, where we're going, to we know exactly what to do next and what we're going to be doing 6 months from now. And we all agree on that. So that was a gap that I wanted to fill, selfishly for myself, but also for all the teams that I was working with, because there was a huge challenge every time I would work with a client, every time I would work with a team, to get over this gap of everybody being confused and not knowing where we're headed and what to do next. And another challenge with this is that you can't copy and paste any of these activities. If you try and copy Amazon, if you try and copy Spotify, if you try and copy company X, you will fail because their context, their perspective, their business model, their strategy is different than yours. Their culture is different. You need something that generates solutions from your team for your team. And so you're going to need models that are flexible, with enough structure to guide you, but not fence you into somebody else's situation that doesn't match your own. So I've crafted these maps and these techniques to be just enough structure that you know what you're doing, and there's very clear direction to each of the workshops, but the outcome is unique every single time you run it. Even in the same team, you will get different outcomes. You will get a different result every time you run it based on what is around you at the moment, what you're focused on, what your top priority is, and all the perspectives on your team at that time. So this to me really addressed the gap of getting everybody together and becoming laser focused on crystal clear outcomes that everybody can agree are valuable and that actually move the needle. And the other thing is that they're all based on data, right? Because it's very hard to get people aligned if there's not concrete, clearly understandable data. We don't want a bunch of opinions fighting forever because it's very difficult to reconcile opinions, but data at least gives us something that we can agree on independently.